Welcome or welcome back to the channel, whatever the case may be. I appreciate you guys stopping in to watch today. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of those Amazon throttle bodies, and we're going to port match our intake to match the opening. So I got the stuff over here on the table. Let's go take a look at it. And right out of the box, this thing looks pretty good. I've seen reviews, good and bad. Some say that these are a tuner's worst nightmare. The airflow is not good with them, but we're going to see. I am going to change the intake air control and throttle position sensor over to the factory. Right now I've got the TBSS intake with the 3-bolt adapter from the 3-bolt throttle body to the 4-bolt adapter plate, and the opening on the inside, we'll take it off and look at it, but it's a little smaller than this. So my plan is to mark it with a Sharpie, silver Sharpie here, and we're going to port match the intake to the throttle body. Unfortunately, I can't show you how it runs right now because if you've been keeping up with the channel, you know the progress on the S10. We have been trying to get this thing running. The target is get it running before Christmas. That is what we're trying to do. So still buttoning up a few things here, and I keep adding to the project. While I'm here, I'm going to do this, and while I'm here, I'm going to do that. So that plagues me. Like right now, it's killing me to have the brake booster, knowing I could have much more room and redo those lines, the brake lines, and make them look a lot cleaner. I'd like to have a manual brake kit, so that may be in the future. I don't know yet. I hope that we can stay focused and get this thing running. But for now, I'm going to set you up. We're going to take this off, take this adapter plate off, look at the size, the hole difference, and we might even measure it and just see what the difference is. And then we'll take and port it. We're going to take some sandpaper and polish it on the inside of the intake so we can get that smooth transition and smooth airflow going into the intake. And I owe you guys a lot. If you've been keeping up with the channel, I owe you guys a lot of review stuff. The steering wheel, I owe you a review on the die on that. Some other things that I can't really show you until we get it running. So let me stop rambling, get the camera set up, and let's get this going. So it'll be one less thing that we've got to contend with to get this truck running. Okay, I got you set up on the tripod. We're going to be using our rotary tool. I always call it a Dremel. I had an actual Dremel for almost 20 years, and it finally quit on me. We've got some bits, some Burr bits that fit. This is what we're going to use, and I'll leave these in the description. So I'm not going to show everything. We'll take it off, do some measurements, but I'll time lapse so we won't have such a long video. So let's go ahead and get started, get this one off. Let's look at the size difference in the port on the intake versus the port on the throttle body. Okay, that didn't take long to get that off. So let's actually see what we're looking at here. It's actually millimeters is what we want to measure with. We know the throttle body should be 92, but let's see what the opening is on this TBSS intake. Wow. It's about 89, 88, 99, 90, 89. I stretched it a little bit, so it's right at 89 millimeters. So about 3 millimeters difference. So let's put this on. It did come with bolts. It's not really a review video, but I'm telling you, for, I don't know, I mean, you can get these things all over the board, anywhere from 50 bucks up to 100 bucks. I paid a little less than 100 for this one in November of 2024. You know how things change. I like to put a date in there so if somebody watches this 6 months from now, they'll know. But my plan is, what we're going to do is I'm going to bolt this thing on. We'll open the butterfly, and then we'll mark it with the Sharpie. So let me get that done. Well, if nothing else, it looks pretty. It looks pretty on there. So let me get this marked, and we'll take it back off, and we'll get to grinding. Okay, as you can see, there's not much material to remove, and I'm just going to angle this back to my silver Sharpie line to make it fit better. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bit chucked up in my rotary tool, and we'll get to grinding. And I'm going to try not to do much in here. I just want it to fit the opening better. I may sand that just a little, make it smoother, clean the, well, it does have some oil in it, but let's get started. And it's actually the next day. We did get finished, but I had to run out, get a haircut, and do some other errands. But let me show you the finished product. It's very smooth. I took my Carbide cutting bits, cut it back to the Sharpie mark, sanded it with some 220 by hand, and then followed up with some 400, and got it smooth. I don't know how much, if any, horsepower this is going to help, but just like port matching your heads to your headers, you know, cutting the gasket size the same so the air is not disrupted. That's kind of the same idea here. I didn't come up with this idea. I have port matched heads before, but I saw another guy do this and I thought it was a good idea. So that's what we did. We marked it, port matched it, and I feel better about it. Another thing, another benefit is when you put a nitrous plate on here, if that nitrous plate is much bigger, it's going to run in your fuel flow, and your nitrous flow is also going to be disturbed by the lip of this. So we get to where we're running nitrous, that will be taken care of. So going back to this, let's see how close I got to the hole size, and I'll let you guys go. Right here. It's hard to do one-handed. Out to the black line. 92.20. So I'm just a smidge over 92 millimeter. But we did get our OEM sensors put on here, because that was another thing I read in the reviews, that the sensors are junk. So I put them over here on my old stock one just to have as spares if I ever use them as spares. And I did, other comments that were made was you want to take these screws out and Loctite them. So I did take these out and Loctite them so they wouldn't get sucked into the engine. But last thing is to take off the fuel rails. You saw me stuff paper towels in here to keep shavings from getting in here. But I'm going to take the fuel rails off and clean this thoroughly with some soapy water and blow it out and let it dry before we put it on the vehicle. But that's going to end it out. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Stay tuned for more content. I'm still debating those manual brakes. So if you guys out there running first gen S10s with manual brakes that you've, aftermarkets that you've put on there, leave me a note in the comments below of what you're using, how well they work. I'm interested in some ideas. I've been looking at the Motion Raceworks, the TBM brakes. That's kind of what I've got stuck in my head, but I'm still researching. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I'd really appreciate to have you as one. Let you see some more videos if you like this kind of content. And with all that, guys, I appreciate you stopping in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.